Hello, pilots, and welcome back to Season 5 of Flight Academy. This is Game 18. We are getting very close to the end of the round robin here, but we have another Rebel on Rebel matchup with Wes versus Scott, and when we have Rebels versus Rebels, we can only call on one person to cheer on the Rebels, and that is...
James, the Rebel fan.
Yeah,
Like,
you are...
they're so fun. They work well with each other. Clearly, Wedge is a popular pilot.
Yeah.
And the U-Wing is a good support ship. Both Wes and Scott, we've seen in the other games, it's a good combination. You've got the hammer that is Wedge, and the little... I don't know, what will be a support tool? Like just the workbench that is
Yeah.
the U-Wing. It's got the wingspan for it.
Yeah, I mean, these U-Wings have been really good, actually. Like, it's given me... The U-Wing is a cool ship, and I've always really enjoyed it. I love the look of it. I love the fact that the wings obviously open and close and everything, and the dynamic, but seeing them played out like this has just given me a bit more of an appreciation for how good they are, especially Magva, who is a character I'd always seen as an upgrade card and never seen as a pilot, and suddenly I'm going, actually, that's really cool. And it's nice to see Saw Gerrera as well, because he is also actually a pretty solid pilot.
Yeah, when I initially saw all of the lists for this Flight Academy and saw that these were very, very similar with Wedge and a U-Wing, I've been curious to see this matchup.
Yeah.
Does the more defensive Magva help out, or does the offensive pressure of Saw win out overall? Like, because the Wedges are fairly similar. They're both running swarm tactics. Granted, Wes's has marksmanship in R3, and Scott's has R5, so there's a little bit of difference there, but I don't think too much. Maybe marksmanship will help out.
Yeah, I mean, the R5 is an interesting choice, giving you that repair option, so the survivability aspect there. My preference would possibly go more towards the R3 marksmanship.
Yeah, and
R3 is just so good in this format of dual ships.
Yeah, grab both locks at the same time, you're kind of done. Also,
Yeah.
Wes kind of it's weird. Like, Wes's list negates the lack of the defensive upgrades on Wedge by having Magva. Scott's list improves the offense that his Wedge is lacking because he's taken R5. So you'd feel like the scales kind of balance out.
Very much so. And
so then it kind of comes down to, what are the U-Wings going to do? Because Saw has the great combo of Perceptive, Co-Pilot, and Jyn Erso.
Brilliant combo.
Magva can just go, you know, I'll Lando it, see what happens.
Yeah, so Magva could end up with basically the same output as Saw, but Saw obviously has to do it as a conscious choice, whereas Magva's just like, I'm just going to let fate decide. Obviously, we discussed this, you couldn't fit the Perceptive Jyn combo on Magva because it's too many points. But I think the Contraband Cybernetics, again, I love it on the U-Wing, and you've got that extra evasiveness for Magva with Elusive in there as well.
Yeah, I really like Elusive on a U-Wing, because the stop is such a useful maneuver. You're almost certain to do it in the course of a game.
And refreshing that Elusive, you're almost guaranteed to refresh that Elusive, I would say once every 3 turns, because that seems to be how often the U-Wing tends to stop, is every 3rd turn. And not only that,
even more so in games that have objectives where you want to stay in the same spot.
Yeah, and with Contraband Cybernetics, you can double stop. I mean, you'll double stress yourself eventually, but it could be the most viable tactic. It could be blocking a wedge. It could be stopping the other U-Wing from getting through. So it's an interesting one. But again, we have the U-Wing shields for these wedges. And obviously, Wes had the initiative, so it's going to be his 6s first. Oh, that's a good one into Saw.
It does look like both wedges aren't shooting each other,
No.
but I think they can both shoot at the opposing U-wings. So I think both U-wings are going to be taking quite a lot of damage.
I think it comes down to the range. It's range 3. Well, their swarm tactics missed there.
Oh,
That was
right,
good back
yeah.
to shoot.
Remember your upgrades, everyone.
That's 2 onto. Well, 1 onto Magva, the evade. So far, Honor's even. And
I'm not a huge fan of those range rulers, by the way.
I don't like them
Like
either.
the extra bit for like connecting them together always throws me off on how far it actually is.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. I'm not a big fan. That's a good shot into Magva there.
And terrible green dice.
Elusive.
Still
Much
not
better
great.
green dice.
There's the focus.
Having to spend the focus, not great.
Yeah, but spending it to stop 2 damage out of 3 is good.
And it's hard to say whether Scott forgot Swarm Tactics because Saul would have shot before Magva anyway. Oh, shame he spent that focus. Oh,
and a good roll for Saw.
It's a weird one because it's good for Scott that Saul keeps those shields.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because Saw's ability, you need a damage card.
Yeah, he wants those shields gone. He wants to be
I
damaged and
think
triggering
the best way to do it is to treat Saw's ability as a backup plan. Like you don't try and take damage. You go, okay, I've taken damage. Now I guess I just get this bonus.
Although saying that, with Saul's ability, it's the ship that's. So while a damage-friendly ship at range 0 to 3 performs an attack, it may reroll 1 attack dice. So he kind of wants Wedge to be damaged. If he's damaged, it's a benefit to himself, but he kind of wants Wedge to be damaged to get that. But as you said, it's a benefit, not a play
Also,
for.
when you're up against Magva, is that ability really that much of a benefit when you're already taking like target locks and stuff?
I mean, if you haven't, it gives you the option to say, actually, I'm going against Magma, there's no point taking the target lock, so I'll just take the focus, or I'll just do a barrel roll or something else. So it just frees, does kind of free up. And then if you can take Magma down, that's when you go, great, now my target locks can have some fun.
I do think looking at Wes's list, I would try and take out Magva first. I know Wedge can really pack a punch, but there's a lot of stuff going on with Wes's Magva, including her own ability.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I think I would just rather just get that out of the way. That is very close to that obstacle.
I mean, I don't think he has no way of avoiding that next turn.
Yeah, that's an interesting position. Also, he might not have a shot on Magva there. That's pretty close.
It's very close.
He'll definitely have a shot on the other wedge though.
That's all, unless Wedge's wedge turns away. I mean, he's got the target lock. I don't know who's. I think the white tip target locks are Scott.
I think he just changed the position of his S-foils.
Scott.
Which means he can now boost. Or he opened them because previously they were shut. I can't actually tell which side the card is currently on.
It's hard to tell sometimes. I kind of want to get those. You can get those tokens for the board that you can flip, which are really nice, but just haven't got around to getting them. There's so many tokens I'd like to get.
Itself on the board, I think the wings are shut.
To be honest, with the Source Renegade X-wing, it's a pain. They're not. They hadn't quite mastered getting that right.
Yeah, so they do move, but they're not great at it, right? I've got one somewhere.
When they did the starter pack, they got it right. I think it might be the paint job on there, to be honest, that's probably impacting it. But I think, I mean, they were using a laser, and I'm not a big fan of using the laser. I used to have one, but I just found them too imprecise.
Yeah, so the laser line sounds good, but the line itself is actually just thick enough. You're like, I still can't really tell.
Not only that, it's just you can't stay steady enough for long enough to really see it.
But on the other hand, we're all Star Wars fans, and if you've got an excuse to use a laser, you'll take it.
I mean, yeah. Let's be real here.
Maybe you can use a
Lasers.
laser to measure stuff, as long as you say pew pew as you're turning it on.
Oh yeah.
Also,
Right.
that's a heck of a roll.
I think that is. That's into Magma.
Yeah, spend one of the evades.
That is a heck of a roll. That's Magma half pointed. Ouch. Saw can finish her off now.
So that was in arc. I guess, you know what? For the sake of flying through a debris cloud next turn, I think that's a good trade-off. I don't think I would have done it, but clearly that's why Scott is doing well.
Again, the swarm tactics trigger
miss.
Yeah,
did they both just forget about it, or were they both like, we both got swarm tactics, let's just forget it and just go off with initiative?
Does swarm
Which is weird, because I feel like Wes benefits more from it bringing Magma up from a 3.
Yeah. I mean, we'll keep an eye to see if it actually has an impact at any point. So far, it hasn't negated. Well, it's only token spending where it could have an impact.
Yeah, having or not having tokens. But that gets tricky to keep track of, to be honest.
Well, at that point, it's not impacting any tokens because it can't spend that focus on evading anyway. So that's
a big hit going into Saw. These U-Wings are really taking hits.
They really are.
But
and that crits a direct hit.
Oh, that's not great for Saw.
That puts honors back to being even between those two.
Saw can re-roll one now.
He can indeed. Just the one.
But it might be enough. He only needs to get a little bit of damage in.
Oh, that's not a little bit. That's a lot.
That'll do. Yeah, spend the focus.
I mean, that.
Oh. Crit. I mean, it could if it's direct hit the other way as well.
Yep. Let's see. It's a console fire by the look of it.
Okay. I mean, that could still be a damage if it's not fixed.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we need now is he's got our friend Chewie on board. Maybe that can help him.
Oh, that's true. Yes, good old Chewie. A very good crew who I don't often take because I look at them and go, I'd rather have like this ability or this one. But Chewie's ability to just fix is very good, and I should use it more.
No console fire trigger there from Magma, so
fortunate.
Can Magma return the favor?
Yeah. That's still good.
Hit crit is good. So it's a crit going into Scott, and that's a damage sensor array.
Okay. I mean, these U-Wings are burning each other down. It's going to come down to Wedge and Wedge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a proper slugfest between those two U-Wings there. They've just got themselves in the middle, and they are just...
I mean, it does show kind of how even these lists are. Like, the damage on both of them is more or less the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't really answer our question from earlier.
I kind of want them just to both do a stop.
What about face?
Yeah.
You almost want them to do you want them to do a stop, turn away from each other, and then say, yeah. But you just then say, right, now you both get 2k turns, so it's almost like you're having like pistols at dawn.
What do you think Scott's wedge has done? Because he is facing debris. You don't necessarily know if the other wedge is going to be in the way or not when you set the dial.
I would say it's probably going to be some 3 bank to the right, or because he's got to go first, so maybe a 3 bank to the right just to get
Yeah.
out of dodge for a bit.
Maybe something to the right.
He's not going to do a talent, so he's bumped there.
But I
So
think it
the
was Wes's ships that were stopping it, so he doesn't roll for damage. But he's stressed, so he can't take the focus.
yeah, but more importantly, he's not at range 0. Oh, 3 hard.
I guess potentially worried that the bank wouldn't.
Yeah. Again, banks are weird.
Yeah.
When they will either
Ooh,
not go
bit of
far
damage.
enough or go too far for you. They're never just right. Yeah, shield down on wedge.
But for the
And
amount of damage you got on
Farb,
Magva, that's worth it. So both wedges get they're
both wedges
very
disengaging.
almost a mirror match in both the ships and apparently the maneuvers.
Yeah.
What we got trigonometry going on? What we're working out here?
I
I
have
think maybe it
no
was a
idea.
case of could the K-turn have fit? Is that maybe
Oh
what we're
yeah,
working
yeah. We
at?
quite like doing that in our local store. We sort
I
of look at it and go,
often do it. I always check with the opponent and be like, "Hey, can I just see if I could have done this?" And more often than not, they'll say yes. I think the only time that hasn't happened was in a like high tournament, which fair enough.
makes sense. Makes absolute sense. Again, although this is that tournament environment, everyone is in it to win it, as it were.
Yeah.
We're all just having a great time playing.
Well, I think
we just
Saw is done.
Saw is done. Swarm tactics remembered there.
Yeah, so swarm tactics from both players presumably, so it's simultaneous fire, right?
No,
Oh,
because swarm
no?
tactics is range 0 to 1.
Oh, and Scott's wedge was too far away.
Yeah, so when the swarm tactics was
Oh,
remembered,
okay.
so suddenly the game opens up a little bit.
Yeah, Magma might be able to get a shot off on wedge before she goes down.
It's going to be tough. It all depends on where Scott's wedge goes. Now, if
Yeah,
it was
'cause-
me, I would be going I'd be going to the right to try and catch Magva and take her out, whilst
Yeah, the
the other
problem
wedge is away.
you've got like the banks that are blue. I don't think Scott's
It's
wedge
not
gets a shot here, does it? Because it's stress, so you can't do a K turn or a talent roll. A talent roll would be ideal.
Talon roll would have been amazing. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's very
You can't do a sharp turn whilst also getting rid of the stress and
yeah.
a bank and a roll, bank and a boost. I don't think that helps. Also, he's gone the other way. Play it safe. Fair enough.
Keeping hold of
No,
that
I
stress.
like it. I like that choice.
Yeah, I mean, what would it obviously would have been nice to see him go the other way and try and take out Magford, but it's just not a possibility, and that's the difficulty.
I think maybe go a bit slower and remove the stress because you're in a good position this turn. Next turn, I think you're in a bit of trouble.
So what you were saying with Scott's wedge, maybe you've done the 2 bank instead.
Maybe even just the 1 bank.
Oh yeah, 1 bank clear the stress, then maybe the Talon next turn.
Like 1 bank clear the stress, maybe do a barrel roll if you feel like you need it. Because at the moment you're very limited on your choices, right? You either do another sharp turn, or you risk a slow bank and you just get.
Oh, I wouldn't risk a slow bank. The slow bank is 100. Any bank 100% going off. That 1 bank would just kiss that edge so badly.
I think here I would maybe do just the 3 sharp turn. Keep your distance from Magva. Maybe get a decent shot on Wes's wedge.
Oh, kill box incoming. I think Wedge has a target lock on Wedge.
Yeah, but Wedge doesn't have a target lock on Wedge.
True. My brain hurts a little bit now. And imagine if this was the game we did the other day where it was Ben versus Ben and they both had wedges. That would just...
Please don't.
Oh. it's like when you're having to do like at the last store championship, there was 2 lists that weren't quite mirror but were close enough, and there were like 5 ships with just slightly different pilots. I was like,
Right, yeah.
I almost don't want that to be on the top table just because it would hurt my head trying to keep on top of whose ship is
Not,
what.
not the best attack, actually, coming out
No,
of wedge into wedge.
I mean, hit crit crit, it's not terrible. Only 1 evade as well for wedge.
Oh, yeah, of course, wedge is versus, isn't it?
So wedge is going to be halved.
Oh man, if Scott loses and doesn't get that 1 bit of damage on Magva, he is going to be, I think, a bit upset.
It would be quite gutting, to be honest. Oh, all going through, so that's hit crit crit going into wedge. A double direct hit or a hull breach or something could really mess him up. That is loose stabilizer and a direct hit.
Oh no. Is Magva going to get the kill from 1 HP?
I think Magva from downtown could be about to take this home.
That'll do it. Wow.
No,
You know what?
That was wedge into wedge. That was wedge into wedge.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was way too many dice, wasn't it?
Is not on, but
it's a good hit.
Hit crit. This could be double evades.
Okay, good. I was going to say, like, the power of swarm tactics really on display. I mean, even if... Okay, yes, it didn't kill, but wow.
It just... When it was remembered, it just deleted sword.
Also, when it is remembered, it really throws off the turn order in my head.
Yeah. It is just a double swarm tactics list. You're like, right, everything fires at 6. It's like all 4 ships are just going to throw dice at each other now. So, but I mean...
Trouble is, Scott is still stressed.
And the time is up, though.
Oh, right, yeah.
Game is over, so that does go to Wes. He gets the 3 points for the win and the 1 point for the ship kill. Almost got that 2nd point in there as well. But you know what? Considering where it was looking at 1 point...
I think with the slogfest that happened at the start, that could have very easily gone the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that was just such a good match to watch. Just seeing them just go fully into each other was just... It's what you want from Flight Academy, in my eyes. It's what we want to see.
And I guess the defensive Magva won out.
Yeah, defensive Magva won out when Swarm Tactics was remembered. But let's have a quick look and see how that does actually affect our table. So, Wes gets himself up into the top 4. He has played all of his games now, though. He now is going to be eagerly watching Andy's final game because Andy is 1 point behind at this stage. So, we know that we've got Ben, Josh, and Benji in the final, but will it be Wes or Andy making it into that top 4 cut? If you want to know, you've got to come round next week to watch that. But James, I hope you enjoyed the game that you were most looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought me on for that one. That was very interesting. Well done to both players.
Well done to them. And guys, like I said, we have 3 more games of the round robin to determine if it's Wes or Andy making it into the top 4. But they're all great games to watch, so make sure you check them all out. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.